Welcome to the movie show. In recent years, the notion that British cinema was only merchant ivory, costume dramas or Richard Attenborough biopics has been gradually dispelled. It may have taken a success on the scale of The Crying Game to convince international industry watchers of our cinematic vitality, but here at home we're better positioned to appreciate the way in which a low-budget comedy from Vadim Jean like Leon the Pig Farmer has galvanised a new wave of young British filmmakers. Opening this week, Jean's new film, Beyond Bedlam, is even more blatant than Danny Cannon's The Young Americans in its courting of multiplex audiences and the American market. Mixing elements from A Nightmare on Elm Street and The Silence of the Lambs, this hallucinatory horror film is a far cry from Jean's more sweet-natured debut. I spoke to the young filmmaker to find out what prompted the switch from hogs to horror. The shift from Leon the Pig Farmer to Beyond Bedlam is almost practically beyond my mind. It's kind of mind-blowing. How did you come about that?
Well, I don't want to get caught in any particular genre. I mean, not particularly that Jewish films about pigs is a genre yet, you know, but I didn't want to get stuck in one thing or the other. I think there's going to be a common strand of comedy in most of the things I do, because I like that. I like to laugh and I like to make people laugh. So, you know, there's still some comedy in Bedlam, even though it's kind of a thriller, horror, thriller thing. Maybe it is a new genre. Maybe this is a new genre too, a thriller.
Hello, Gilmore. How are you?
Fine, I'm fine. Now.
We can't have incidents like this happening, you know.
No, I can see that.
We're doing our best to find the right medical treatment, but you have to make an effort, Gilmore.
Oh, I hear what you're saying, Stephanie. I know where you're coming from.
I'm glad to hear it.
I'm happy to be part of your experiment. Oh, don't worry. I'm on your side.
Were the people around you and the people who had applauded the work you done in Leon the Pig Farmer somewhat concerned or even disappointed with the fact that you'd gone into the kind of horror side of life?
Yeah, well, I think they've been shocked, stunned and not a little amazed. They've been surprised. I mean, I did it because I like all sorts of kinds of films, and I want to make thrillers, I want to make comedies, I want to do dramas, and this is an opportunity to get my hands on some action and some effects and things like that, which you can only learn by doing it. And I really feel I'm sort of, you know, learning, and the only way you can do it is by doing it. So the more films I do, the better I hope I get.
You all right?
Let's go.
What was it about the idea of Beyond Bedlam that appealed to you? Why did you want to go for a film like that?
Well, I think that one of the great things about cinema is you can capture people's imaginations. And I just love the central idea of the book, which it's based on, which is that you put this psychopath on drugs, and so that when he dreams, other people experience what he's dreaming. I mean, I think that's a really interesting, potent idea, and you can take that to any limit, virtually, and we try to, you know. So what you create then is a world which just becomes madder and madder and crazier, which is what we tried to do.
It's all right. Turnbull has everything under control. He tricked Gilmore, gave him a neuroleptic injection, and he's now sedated. Everything's back to normal, thank goodness.
Are you sure?
It's all right now. Turnbull has everything under control. He tricked Gilmore, gave him a neuroleptic injection, and he is now sedated. No! It's a funny old world, isn't it? When you think about it. A stitch in time saves 9, and to look before you leap. That's what I always say. Life is but a dream, a bad dream.
If you go for that kind of hallucinatory quality, and I'll say that in English this time, if you go for that kind of hallucinatory quality, is it difficult to maintain a kind of coherent line in the film?
Very much, and I think it's the biggest risk I took. Whether or not it works, you know, people have to decide when they go and see the film. In the way that Jacob's Ladder, which had this idea, you know, are you dreaming or are you not? You know, is Tim Robbins really seeing this, or is it all a very real conspiracy by the government? You know, I mean, that was the kind of thing that was in balance there. And I think in Bedlam, what I tried to do was to leave you slightly unsure whether or not what Craig and Elizabeth, the two lead characters, are experiencing is a dream or not. Now, what you could do, you see, in that situation is have nice wobbly dissolves into the bits that are supposed to be dreams. And I didn't quite want to do that. And I mean, I knew I was running a risk, a very difficult thing to do, you know, to try and swing the audience from thinking, oh no, it's okay, this is real now. Oh no, hang on, maybe it's not. I mean, and the jury's out, let's wait and see.
Hello, darling, you're home early. Nice cup of tea? Stick the telly on and put your feet up.
Return to me.
Either one.
Oh, my dear, I'm so lonely.
In your preparation for the film, did you make an early decision that it would be a very stylised and mannered film? Because the opening shots basically put your cards on the table and say, it's this kind of film.
No, they do. I'm actually really proud of the opening. I think the opening looks beautiful. I think it's really stylish. And I think it has a real punch. I love films that actually grab you by the throat, and because I think cinema is manipulative, ultimately, and powerful. And I'm very proud of that. I think it works really, really well. So it's very conscious, and I wanted a real look. I mean, it's almost a cliche, but virtually all my peers' favourite film is Blade Runner. And that film has this amazing look, which we wanted to do. So there's lots of use of coloured light. And you know, one of the things we tried to do with that light was to, as the thing becomes more and more unreal, you go from these kind of stuff that's sort of shot and looks a bit like sort of Minder. You know, it's kind of sort of, you know, maybe Prime Suspect kind of investigation, which as it becomes, as they get thrown into this weird and wacky world, it becomes darker and darker and bluer.
The more cynical elements of the critical fraternity might say, well, of course, he's aiming for that multiplex audience in the big screen, and it's a very kind of American way, and when Hollywood get the sniff of this, they'll be going, come over and make a film.
Yeah. Well, I have actually already turned down a Hollywood movie, I have to say. Yeah, it was a kids' film about a talking pig with country and western soundtrack. And not wishing to be, you know, typecast as a pig director, I turned it down. But no, in all seriousness, I mean, I just make films that I like. And if there are things about American films, and there are, that I think appeal or that work or that I like to watch, then I'll do it.
Although horror films seem to be out of favour at the moment with our politicians, it seems no one has stopped to tell our filmmakers. Beyond Bedlam opens in British cinemas this week and will play alongside Chris